In the next generation, we are told about how superior humanity has become. The evolved human that is above death, above malice. All of the negative aspects of humanity, for the most part, has been bred out of those who live in this century. However, is that really true? Because the more I analyze Starfleet and their actions, I have to ask, are they the baddies? Something that I consistently see in my comments is people complaining that I portray Starfleet inaccurately. I've stated it before, but I'm simply doing a logical breakdown on the events as they occur. Not telling a story as if Picard has mounted me and wants me to sing him sweet nothings, as some appear they want me to tell the story. My two major series right now include the Dominion War and Romulan lore. In these two, I break down the events as they occur in the timeline. This doesn't take into account future actions. It's with what is presented at the time. Now, if there are machinations in the background, behind the scenes, I do address that certainly, but if it hasn't happened yet, it's not discussed. And the analysis of the early years of these interactions on Starfleet's side is quite simple. Starfleet was either the aggressor, or they were stupid. The fact is, Starfleet has never really been squeaky clean. The officers have never actually been solidly the good guys. When you look at Starfleet and the citizens of the Federation, they've historically been fallible. We see this in every series. In fact, in the original series, we have racist characters, a main hero wanting war because he simply can't stand those who need his help. These people feel real, they are real, they make mistakes. Deep Space Nine is well renowned for pushing the envelope in this regard. You have the main hero bombing a planet that can't defend itself to catch one man. Starfleet sending warships to smuggle Federation contraband, and the character known to be the everyman, the one who we are supposed to identify with most, coming near to committing suicide. And that's not even to bring up the senator that is murdered to bring an entire government into a war that they wouldn't have entered into as of yet. Voyager broke these rules in spades, trading Federation technologies, suspending the Prime Directive, and more. Though I would argue Voyager should be considered an outlier given the circumstances, but still, it goes against the narrative that was laid down. We'll discuss how we got to a mentality where Starfleet could do no wrong after this. Hey there. Are you one of those who have noticed and commented about the videos getting shorter? Well, it's saddening, but I found out that this channel may have a huge case of ED. Yes, ED. Entertainment dysfunction. This is due to an ever-changing algorithm that doesn't allow its content creators to be as long as they want to be. If you want to see the lore reloaded with a lot of girth, consider extending my length by becoming a patron at patreon.com/lore reloaded. You can also give via PayPal, there's a link below, or become a member of this channel by clicking the join button. It's right next to the subscribe button. So get on your knees, open wide, and help harden the Lore Reloaded's resolve to become even that much longer for you. Now let's just get back into it. So where did this sense of superiority about Starfleet come from? All of this can really be tracked back to the Next Generation, specifically its early years. Most of the mentality is centered around the first two seasons when Gene Roddenberry had almost complete control. Also the worst seasons of the Next Generation. Just saying. Ironically, this is one of the reasons I am exceptionally hard on Starfleet as an organization. When I was a kid, I started out watching TNG. I'd watched most of the entire series when DS9 came out, and I was excited to see DS9 because of what happened in TNG. I also don't disagree that it's a nice sentiment, something to strive for. However, if you're going to set a standard and then not meet it, it's not my fault that I call you out on it. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I also think it's worth noting that the universe in which the Federation and Starfleet exist simply won't allow them to be straight-laced. In a universe with the Borg, the Cardassians, the Romulans, the Dominion, you don't have the luxury of being a superior human. It may seem nice to believe that there are people who will always be above reproach, but that simply can't exist in the real world. You know, there really is a nice breakdown between Bashir and Sloan. Bashir wanting to be the superior Starfleet and Sloan accepting the truth of the matter. Though ironically, I think Bashir comes to Sloan's way of thinking in some instances. We all have our price. That brings up another good discussion. The point of each series is to create a good story that people will watch. Star Trek creators are in it for the money partially, let's not forget. A part of writing a good story is crafting characters that humans can relate to. And we relate to drama. Unfortunately, the 21st human can't relate to what Gene Roddenberry thought should be our future. If you watch someone that has little to no flaws, you don't relate and you don't enjoy it. So with that in mind, when you look at the writing that draws in audiences, the world that Starfleet resides in every series with the exception of early TNG, can Starfleet be the bad guys? Can they be evil? Maybe. It's all in your perspective. In the original series, the United Federation of Planets was a regional power, moving into a superpower. They had to make moves, both diplomatically and militarily, to survive. Did Starfleet try peace first? Well, yeah, of course. Would they take chances, even if it placed them at a disadvantage, if it meant that they could get peace? Generally, yes. Would they make stupid moves resulting in the deaths of thousands? Never. Not without repercussion. The Starfleet of Kirk's time was a military that wanted peace, but wasn't afraid to utilize a massive stick. Sometimes this meant doing things that made you look like the bad guy. That all changed in the Next Generation and early seasons of Deep Space Nine. Starfleet was now a superpower and held back far more than they should have. They held back, even if it meant Starfleet losses and Federation citizen deaths. This Starfleet was supposed to be evolved, squeaky clean. It is because of the propaganda piece that when I talk about all of the Starfleet missteps in the Romulan and Dominion series, people get completely out of sorts. Even TNG's Starfleet would be aggressive, they would make mistakes. So it's unfortunate that this small piece of lore impacts such a larger mythos, and perhaps has changed entire opinions. I don't think Starfleet could ever be what Picard says they are in Season 1 or Season 2, even if we discount everything else. In the end, do I think Starfleet is evil? No. I think they're acting human. During the Romulan escalation, Starfleet was dealing with an entity that had an insane advantage and technology that was on par with their own. The Starfleet had no interest in a fight, but they couldn't allow the Star Empire to gain anything either. They were doing the best they could with the ideals that they had. During the Dominion Cold War, Starfleet had finally bumped up against an entity that was diplomatically and militarily as powerful as they were. The admirals and captains of a pre-Dominion era weren't accustomed to dealing with a threat that could match them in every way. So why does this keep coming up? Why do we keep having this conversation? I think we let a few seasons of both TNG and DS9 make us think Starfleet is something that it simply wasn't. And honestly, when we break it down, you don't have to be perfect to be the good guys. You can make missteps, you can be aggressive, you can make wrong calls, and overall, still be what the universe needs. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below.